Hi, it's Romy Aquarius. Welcome to the channel. This is your June 2021 soul story. If you've got your sun rising or moon in Aquarius, then you might find my general readings give you a little bit more insight into navigating through the next few weeks. So we're into Gemini season and we're welcoming the final eclipse in the Sagittarius Gemini dance that has been playing out over the last year and a half. And we have this interesting conversation that's taking place between the higher and the lower mind, the ego self and the higher self. And we open up your month of June with the energy of the Hermit. And I think it is because there are parts of what is meant to be understood through this month that can only really be acknowledged and processed when you have time and space to kind of step back and really ask yourself some of the more poignant questions, which include, how does this feel to me? Does it feel good? Do I actually even like it? Am I moving in the right direction? How is my energy feeling? What is my soul saying to me in this moment? Does it bring me pleasure? I mean, we are in Gemini season and fifth house activation for you, which is asking these really interesting questions by way of your relationship to all things creative in your world, your ability to be able to draw more pleasure and enjoy that pleasure into all aspects of how you show up for yourself. And I think you're just going to be really aware of where you have been or continue to be like really mindlessly led, either by other people or by outside stimulation, by the media or content or news or information. And there is a dizzying amount of information that's making its way to us in the course of Gemini season especially. And eclipse brings big news, right? So many of you might be finding that to all intents and purposes, you feel like you're a little bit isolated or on a little bit of an island right now and kind of wondering how on earth you're going to get from A to B at this exact moment. Well, sometimes we have to let the dust settle and we have to just allow some processing to take place before these things start to really reveal and show themselves. And in the meantime, it's really important that you're using this month of June with all of its intensity, but also with all of its capacity for really meaningful change to actually reconnect to the heart space in a new way for you, Understanding that you can be vulnerable in moments, in situations and conversations with other people, especially when you're having to come to terms with things or there's big trajectory shifts that are taking place. Knowing that fear wants us to cling on to things. It wants us to stay rooted and paralyzed. And love will always feel like a release. It will always feel open. It will always feel expansive. And what you're seeking right now by way of that wisdom that's coming in with the Hermit energy as your guide is this opportunity for some deeper karmic release to take place so that you can fill your life with more of the things that you really want, with more of the things that do make you feel good. And so be prepared that June is going to almost give you it's almost like every single thing on the table, so you get to see all of it in the kind of cold, sobering light of day, right? So it's like all of the good things, all of the bad things, all of the things that feel really uncomfortable, but also where the sweetness is starting to kind of come together and really lead you by the hand and say, come this way. It's a beautiful month of like vision questing. And, especially through the first part in this air sign, this fellow air sign Gemini, speaking the same language as you, I think it is going to help you to come to terms and actually come to some acceptance about what you want to do and why you want to do it next. Now, Venus moves into Cancer from the 2nd of the month. And so in this sign, she's at home with feeling her way into things, and remember, Venus rules that second house of value. And so how we value ourselves and how that's reflected in, all of the relationships that we are involved in, especially from a love perspective, but also in the way that we earn money and how we surround ourselves with the material. And so what makes us feel good needs to be activated in terms of how it makes us feel, And so you're really going to be aware of that in this first part of the month. Now, retrograde with Mercury is with us right through to the 22nd. We've already got Saturn and Pluto. It's, of course, retrograde season. We're going to welcome Jupiter on the 20th and then Neptune on the 25th. And what is this? It's an invitation to go inwards, you know? It's a time when, yes, things can feel a little bit more stilted or problematic and challenging in various ways, but the beauty and the gifts of it is that all of the growth happens on the inside, and we get to move into those energies where we can almost like shut out to a certain perspective, like the white noise and the things that feel unimportant as we return to, or we get the chance to revisit or apply time and energy and investment into things that are going to be important for us. And the Four of Cups suggests to me it's almost like you've got a helping hand, you know, somebody just giving you a little bit of respite from the rain, from the weather, from the outside things that can just get in the way. So I just feel like you're going to have that little bit more space so that you can do what's required of you, what's being asked of you from your higher self, you know, working out what you've learned and what you've gained as we reach this midpoint of the year. Now, Mars moves into Leo on the 11th, so if you have felt your drive, your motivation has left you a little bit lackluster, or you're struggling to understand with which direction, or even how to implement some of the bigger changes or decisions, Four of Cups does suggest you're almost at a little bit of an impasse in relation to that, then that energy should come in and start to drive you forth a little bit more. And it comes in again with a lot of heart energy, you know, so as long as you feel motivated by something because you enjoy it, then you're set to do well and start to see some really good growth coming in. And actually that's also going to help by way of bringing a little bit more passion into the connections and relationships in your life as well. Now, on the 14th, we're going to welcome the second of Saturn squaring Uranus. The first one came in on the 17th of February earlier this year. So what was playing out for you around that time, Aquarius? You're set to revisit that, certainly the themes of it, but this time perhaps not from a place of not really knowing. Now there's a clear indication, so it's almost like you see the energy coming a little bit more clearly. And of course what we get to do is respond differently by way of the growth that we've seen within ourselves. And so how will you handle this challenge when a square comes along astrologically? There's a pressure associated with that. With a Saturn retrograde in your sign, there is a requirement to kind of dig deeper in terms of what it's been showing you and working on with you in the last few months in terms of advancing and making sure that you're doing things in the right way for yourself to bring in that level of increased commitment and a sense of more solid foundations. But at the same time, what do we need to break free of? You know, you've got that Uranus rebellious quality coming in that's seeking the freedom from restrictions and sanctions. And so, yeah, it's set to probably feel a little bit uncomfortable for you, but your Six of Swords energy coming in here, you know, we have this similar quality of her holding the fishing line and here holding the anchor, and it's like you're searching for something, you're fishing for something, you're trying to find the perfect place with which to tether yourself, to anchor yourself. But remember, the Six of Swords is still on the move. There's like a mutable quality to this as she's represented by the cloud. The cloud is heavy, suggesting that there's a need for some release here. There's a need for the weather to change before perhaps we actually see the exact perfect spot. Can she see this idyllic island beneath her? Maybe she's acutely aware of it, or maybe she needs to feel her way into it by way of that Venus in Cancer transit. Regardless, you know, you're getting kind of help from the heavens here. The star is guiding you. It's like your North Star. And we are letting go. We're in an energy of release, deep karmic release through the course of June. And with that intensity comes an understanding that it's sort of now or never. There's this quality where I feel like if I can't give myself permission to do it now, when will I? When will I? Now, your body's going to give you direct emotional feedback. If it feels heavy, if it feels overloaded, if it feels like it needs to cry, it needs to rest, it needs to be nourished in a different way, especially as we come into Cancer season, and that sixth house of like the way that you take care of yourself, looking at your health and well-being is going to be really front focus for you through that second part of June. Jupiter goes retrograde in Pisces on the 20th of the month, your second house of value. Again, really this emphasis around how do I think about myself and how is that translating into the way people are treating me right now? And where is my joy in all of this? Where is the fun in this? Where is the lightness in this? Now, yes, life is tough right now for many of us, for all of us in different ways, for different reasons, but it doesn't get to steal, it doesn't get to be the thief, the dream thief, you know, and if we allow it to, then what sort of a life are we kind of agreeing for ourselves? One where we say, well, we can never be happy again until we eradicate certain things that might be going on. That's just not realistic. We have to find ways to coexist with some of the challenge and the difficulty and the darker aspects of what might be unfolding, and still find the beauty and the absolute moments of grace and love and purity that are existing for us day by day, moment by moment. So you're on a bit of an archaeological dig this month, and I think one of the interesting things that's going to come to light for many of you is where some of the blocks that you've held, you've clung on to really by way of not knowing any better or by aspect of fear in some way, and where they've held back, particularly in areas that are directly related to, you know, love in your life, romantic love, the giving and receiving of that energy, but also your creativity, your ability to play in your own life, like play in the sandpit and just say, this is what I want to make, this is how I want to spend my day, this is what I want to do. And so you might be having some really strong observations and things coming to the surface through the course of June, Aquarius, that are going to help you to rebalance something in a really, really good way. Your Ace of Cups is a gorgeous energy to welcome in right at the center of your reading, to say, let's start from here and then have everything kind of spread out from this center point of knowing this is what I need. If you can get really clear this month, if you can sit down with yourself and make a plan, an emotional plan that says, you know, these are the non-negotiable parts of myself, these are the non-negotiable things that are going to make me feel just human at a base level, that are just going to help me to function on a day-to-day basis. And then from there, but this is also going to help me to really start to enjoy myself, and this is going to help me to feel a sense of optimism and abundance flowing in all these ways. And it's like taking back control of your life in that way, through introspection, through self-review, and through deciding and actually starting to actualize some of the things that you want by way of a proper grounded plan, are going to be really important, because we're at this midpoint of the year. You get to take stock, don't you, and say, okay, what have I achieved? You know, how have I changed? Where has the growth been? Not from a place of judgment, so be really careful you don't slip into that this month, by the way, and getting really down on yourself or overly critical if you're not seeing the results, or you know, mirroring back things that you hope to have manifested by this point, but rather just use it as an opportunity to say, okay, what adjustments do I now need to make? You know, there's a sense of there being this really interesting kind of archaeological dig that you're going to be doing through the course of June, and part of that's going to take you deeper into your past. You know, we always have an opportunity to revisit the past with these retrograde energies, and you know, you're going to be picking up valuable pieces of the puzzle, getting to know yourself in a different way. And you might even be drawn to things like soul retrieval, like looking at past lives, Akashic records, anything that's going to help you to put the pieces together of perhaps why you keep bumping up against a certain energy, or why a certain thing feels very difficult for you to move past or move beyond. Your Ten of Wands coming in here says to me that, you know, there's a pressure that you're putting on yourself this month, and we need to go a little bit lighter with that. We don't need to martyr ourselves into saying, like, I have to do it this way and it's got to be done by this time, and if I don't do this, it's not going to happen, it's not going to be achieved. And you have to be really aware of where you're kind of keeping that storyline active, and especially how that might be impacting on your closer relationships as well. But I also see that people are demanding an awful lot of you through the course of this month as well. It's almost just like everything happens all at once, and all of a sudden everybody needs you, everybody wants you. And that's a good place to be, especially if you've been courting and looking to see an increase in business, an increase in attention, or wanting to be acknowledged or appreciated or valued or invited in. But then when it comes and it's like all happening at once, there could be just a little bit of a sense of overwhelm that comes in there as well. Look at all those butterflies that are escaping around you. Something that you shift or change in your energy acts as a catalyst to make you very magnetic. And fifth house energy can really do that and sort of draw towards us a lot of interest. And as we make our way into Cancer season, your sixth house of career, for many of you, you might find this on a work front is starting to come in, which is exactly perhaps what you're looking for and wanting to see, but maybe it's coming in thicker and faster than you wanted, or in a way that just feels like I don't have the space, I just don't have the energy, I don't have enough resources to be able to meet all of the demands that are being put upon me or asked upon me. And in that moment, I think the most important question is this actually feeling good to me? And even if I'm starting to realize and get some of the things that I thought I wanted or I've been asking for, how is that now making me feel? Because I think there's just this interesting adjustment that you're going to make where you're kind of like, it's like you're refining something in your plan. And that will translate importantly in all aspects of your experience through June, Aquarius. So recognizing that, I thought I wanted this, I thought I wanted this like amazing, beautiful kind of aligned relationship. And really what I was seeking was some time out for myself to actually kind of find who I am right now, or to focus on my health and well-being. Or maybe I wanted all of this business success, but now what I've really realized is that, I want more time back from my family. So there's an adjustment that has to happen, an edit that you're going to make, like sort of like on the move, if you like, through this month. It's actually going to allow you to put a stronger, better foundation in place. I also see you kind of closing the door or locking something down. So maybe if there is an overwhelm that comes in, a flood of too much attention, too much energy, just too many demands, you are going to kind of hit a moment where you're just like, okay, enough is enough. Like, I just need to take a breath here. And being unapologetic in that is also going to be exceptionally important. Your body, like we said, is going to be giving you direct feedback in terms of what is working for you and how energy feels, and what other people's actions and what they're bringing to the party, what they're bringing to the table is impacting you in the way that it's participating in some of the things that you're working on or working towards or thinking about. Now, your Four of Pentacles also talks to me about what you're investing into. Yeah. And we've got this journeying quality of the Six of Swords that's saying there's a need to move on here. There's a need to keep going. And so perhaps where we've invested our time and our energy, we also have to kind of almost like take our focus away from something to free up the momentum in some way. And maybe we just need to take a moment and kind of look at something completely different. If you've been sort of watching and waiting for someone or something to kind of deliver a response, it can kind of send you a bit stir crazy, So I think also just looking at where you want to invest yourself so that the energy for you personally, Aquarius, feels like it's still moving is going to be really important, so you don't sort of are into that kind of apathy and that listlessness that just is like nothing's changing here. Now, I'm sure it's probably not going to be the case in the midst of eclipse season and one of the most dynamic, fast-changing astrological months of the entire year. However, if that is your experience, then again, it is an indication, really, I think, of them saying, what do I need to do differently here? Where can I change this up a little bit? You've got new inspiration and ideas coming to the forefront. And when they do come, there is this sense, I think, of you feeling a little bit uncertain or doubtful or even a little bit shy about sharing or kind of or admitting or kind of like giving yourself permission for it. But this shyness is a kind of weird feeling that I'm getting coming through with the Ace of Wands. So maybe we just need to work a little bit more on our inner confidence that says, yes, we can actually go explore that. I think this is going to be exceptionally important when we attach it to the word pleasure, because where we have a slightly disconnected or like flawed relationship with pleasure, because we just find it difficult to receive, right? And that can be on all levels, Aquarius. Then there can be a shyness to say, actually, this is what I enjoy. This is what I enjoy. And that might be from the bedroom all the way through to this is how I want to spend my day. These are the things that actually I get a lot of pleasure from. And you might think I'm strange or weird or a bit out there or not understand why that's something that really soothes me or lights me up. So there's this kind of shyness to kind of being open and admitting, even to yourself first and foremost, but also then to the people around you. But you're not going to get growth, and you're not going to get the opportunity for people to kind of really honor and respect what it is that you need in order to be happy without sharing of that information. And all of this fresh new energy that's coming in by way of this kind of almost beautiful rebirth that's happening within your pathway and through the course of the entirety of this year, as all these planets kind of coalesce in your sign, Aquarius, is giving you the opportunity to reinvent yourself at a really deep level. And so we have to get past any aspect of kind of feeling embarrassed, feeling shy, feeling sort of held back in any way. Now, we're going to be meeting solstice energy at the midpoint of the year, the 21st in the northern hemisphere, the longest day, and in the southern hemisphere, the shortest day of the year, and an opportunity to rebalance beautifully. And we also have Venus trining Neptune on the 21st in water energy, so deeply emotional. We've got the energetic guide of justice coming through here, connected to Libra, helping you to balance something out. Typically a little bit less emotional when we're working with the guide of justice, but maybe that's what you need ritualistically when we come to the solstice. We don't want to be flooded on an emotional level so that we just feel so overwhelmed. We want to be clear in our thinking of knowing exactly what we need to do, why we're doing it, who we want to be in that moment, and what it's going to take to bring about a sense of commitment and permanence to this change that you're ready to bring about in yourself and in your life. And I really like that for you. In and around that time, we're also going to be seeing Mercury moving direct, so that will open things up communication-wise. It will give you the green light by way of signatories and agreements and anything that you need to do from a legal perspective. And as we then come into the 24th, the full moon in Capricorn is helping you to achieve and realize something at quite a profound sort of status. I feel like there's quite a lot of status kind of attached to that full moon, so either that you are connecting or talking to somebody who is in quite a key position of authority, or that actually your position or something coming to fruition for you is getting a lot of recognition or sort of being acknowledged in quite a strong, potent way. It's a very, very powerful month, and when Neptune goes retrograde on the 25th, it kind of takes the rose-coloured glasses away, and we're sort of left with that cool, light of sobering quality that says, okay, these are the dreams, this is the creative vision that we have, but how are we going to do it? What we're going to do to make it happen. And full moon in Capricorn will be your ally in that instance. Yeah, little bit of tough love that comes in at that point, but we can make the most of it and really harness it. And I think that's going to do really well. But it's also going to give you the clarification that you need specifically in some of the relationship connections that you've got going on. If you're trying to negotiate, advance, discuss anything, or decide about the best way to approach what you need to do in order to just see the energy move. Because I think the worst thing for you this month is going to feel like you're not seeing growth anywhere. That's really going to kind of dampen your spirits a little bit, and sort of perhaps send you off in the wrong direction where you didn't need to be, because you might not have seen everything that's going on beneath the surface or behind the scenes, Venus then moves into Leo on the 27th of the month, and again just brings us a little bit more confidence and courage, and maybe that's what's going to be required as well, to kind of really ask for what it is that you need. Okay, so your oracle card that wants to join this conversation is straddling worlds, wandering between realms. And you might feel like super, super ungrounded in Gemini season. I mean, you are a fellow air sign, so your capacity to be able to kind of work with that type of energy is a little bit easier. But at the same token, the fixed aspect of your sign might find the mutability just a little bit intense, and you just might find that it's dizzying by way of like some of the energy that you're picking up. A lot of you might experience from an innate kind of intuitive perspective a lot of flashback energy, especially where it's going back to significant sort of past life stuff or the remembrance of things or deja vu. Anything like this is kind of coming up because the eclipse is sort of like pulling things up from the deepness, of like your soul journeying through lifetimes and lifetimes. So I think it's like a really interesting vibe with a little bit of that haze and fog and confusion, but nebulous energy with the retrograde and backspinning planet. So going to be kind of interesting to see what you make of that and what it brings up for you, but understand that all of it has value. 52 of course takes us to 7, numerology wise, deeply spiritual number, also bringing about a choice for you. I think the more that you seek guidance and counsel from your higher self and allow that meditative vibe of this month with your hermit to come in and help you. Even the 4 of Cups kind of have that, I need to just zone out for a minute to kind of really tune in and listen into what I'm feeling right now. And you're probably going to be using that phrase an awful lot through the course of this month. This is how I feel. This is what I feel about this. That's going to be really helpful for people to get an understanding of where you stand on certain issues, because perhaps you've up to this point not really been prepared or not been ready to kind of put your hat in the ring or share what you think. Let's have a look and see what this deck wants to say. This is Sacred Forest by Denise Lynn, just new deck that's come out. Okay, Secret Spring Success. Lovely. I think there's an awareness that really your secret spring is about your own inner wealth and the discovery of that, the magic that comes, with the Fae kind of stepping forth here. And it's like you've been on this journey. It's a little bit this rite of passage with your Six of Swords. Like you've had to go through something quite profound in order to kind of come right back home to yourself and discover what was always there, laying dormant, or perhaps you felt was missing, or that there was this aspect of a void and you were searching, and here was the idea, here was the nugget, here was the inspiration. The aspect of this being kind of secret as well suggests to me that, you have either held it back, or there's still perhaps a little bit of a feeling that you're meant to kind of keep a quiet, closed counsel on it. Remember what I said though, don't be too shy about not sharing and sort of wanting to make sure that you kind of display energetically, both to yourself, to the universe, and to the people who are in your life who love and care for you, like what it's going to take in order to help you to thrive. Because, sometimes success is the things that we need to let go of and what we need to release, as much as it is the things that we love and what we initiate and what we invest our time and energy into. And so being really bold and brave and saying, like, I can't do this anymore, it's not working for me, I'm leaving this, I'm leaving you, I'm letting this go. I mean, these are all typical strong eclipse type of decisions and choices that come through or merge from us, and sometimes happen to us. Sometimes it's just like fully taken out with our what we perceive as our free will choice, and it kind of fate just lands this particular experience right on our doorstep. And yet you have this beautiful secret spring of success that will come from whatever you are moving through and experiencing in the month of June. And that's something to feel quite delighted about, actually. And again, all the freshness of your aces coming in suggests that there is new stuff to be excited about, regardless of how heavy you might also be dealing with other aspects of things. So your astrology card is Scorpio, intensity. Yes, it is an intense month. Purging. Yes, we know we've got this heavy rain cloud that needs to release so that the sun can come back out, and the rainbow can even remind us of that blessing. And this sense of renewal, taking care of yourself, putting time, energy, and investment into things that are important for you requires deep decisions. It requires a level of intensity and focus. A fellow fixed sign with Scorpio, you will do what it takes. You will do what it takes, but it also requires your ability to be able to move into shadow aspects of the self, you know. Scorpio isn't afraid to do that work, and there'll be aspects of time through the course of this month, especially as we get deeper into Saturn moving retrograde, that you are really invited to reflect upon parts of yourself that you have disowned, avoided, and that are now coming up for questions to be curious about, to be open and willing to receive guidance on, so that you can move forward. And I think what comes from that, look at these butterflies exploding, it's like amazing amounts of metamorphosis. And you know, it's almost like we sometimes have to open Pandora's box, you know, which can feel super uncomfortable, but what can come from it is like a sense of liberation and freedom for the self, as you just really own, here are all the things, you know, and now they're all out in the open, they're all on the table. Now I can kind of make a meaningful decision about where we go from here. So this is a general reading, Aquarius. If you'd like to join me for the extended version, I'm going to go ahead and pull us some cards that are going to clarify this main reading. But first, I'm just going to invite you to ask a question that I might not have covered in this main read, and we'll pull some guidance for you on that. You can find the link for the readings. They're in the description box and the comment section underneath the video. It's a way to support my channel, and also obviously to get some additional insight if the reading's resonating, and I'm very grateful for those of you that join me. So let's just take a look at this Hermit. We're clarifying it again with another Ace of Cups, which is beautiful. It might also be a Virgo energy that you're dealing with here. We have Two of Pentacles coming in and the Knight of Cups, so definitely some romantic energy coming through here. Seven of Pentacles has been showing up in almost all the readings, and I think it is this reminder of the midpoint of, you know, 2021, and where we're ready to kind of acknowledge what has to change and shift, and that life edit that we're going to be making. Another ace coming through that I love for you. Also got the Hanged Man coming in and the Ten of Cups. Interesting energies to be working with. Page of Swords. Another Ten of Wands showing up here. You have to be really careful there's not something coming in that's just the straw that broke the camel's back. You know, lots of self-care is needed for you this month. Six of Cups. Another Hermit coming in here. You do look super busy though, don't you? Like really focused on something. Like intensely. It's good though. You're going to have celebration from it. Opportunity to share. It's coming soon. Nine of Pentacles. Emperor. Oh, nice. Double Ace of Wands. Sparks are going to fly somewhere. King of Wands. Is this a person? Queen of Wands. Match made in heaven a little bit. Professionally, personally, creatively. A bit of a challenge going on at the root of the reading there. We've got Six of Pentacles. Eight of Wands. And another Four of Pentacles. Okay, Aquarius, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've enjoyed it, please do drop me a like and a comment. If you're joining me for the extended, I'll see you there. I wish you lots of love this month. You take it easy. Bye.